so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital app in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital app.
Hayuko nyanya, hayuko.
Ati nini?
Hivi kumbe mtu weza kulala ukiamka ukifungua macho ukuta umekufa?
Ndio Mungu kimwangalia ana upungufu wote wa kiafya huyo.
Upungufu si lazima wa afya, unaweza pungukiwa hata akili.
Unasemaje?
Na nakwambia kwa huko ndani ya nyumba yangu kuna kazi ukija utaajiriwa.
Ninakuona tangu asubuhi umeamka hauna raha. Kwani kuna shida yote?
Nahisi kama kuna kitu kibaya kitafanyika.
Sasa mbona wa mzigo mwanamume wewe ubebeki?
Mimi nimekuwa mzigo. Chumba chake kimejaa harufu ya kifo.
Well, it remains to be seen if the IBC question will be addressed. That has been the discourse across the country. And if you're just joining us on this KBC Lunchtime News, recently to add his voice on this particular issue is none other than the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who has touched upon the IBC reconstitution, stating that the number of court cases that have been filed in the corridors of justice has hindered the reconstitution of the independent body. We have that and so much more lined up for you in the next 1 hour or so. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshi. And we start on that particular matter where minority leaders at the Senate have called for the immediate reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, in preparation for the 2027 general elections. Speaking at Barani Secondary School in Malindi Town, Kilifi County, Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua absolved Parliament from blame in the delay in reconstituting the electoral body, saying both the Senate and the National Assembly were awaiting the bills from the National Dialogue Committee, which laid the foundation for the establishment of the election body to be presented for enactment.
For a country to be without an electoral body, less than 3 years into an election, we are actually courting disaster. We are actually courting disaster. It's a big, big problem. I want to call upon the President and his government to do whatever it is that he needs to do and what the government needs to do, including all arms of government, to make sure that we have an IBC in place.
Kama ni kusukuma, serikali inatakana isukume, bunge inatakana isukume, lakini ukiona hivi sasa ni kama tulilegeza kamba, lakini tunayo matumaini ya kwamba hivi karibuni pengine huenda IBC hiyo wale commissioners wakapatikana.
Elsewhere, a section of residents from the pastoral community in Oldonyero Ward, Isiolo County, now have a reason to smile thanks to an initiative by the county government to distribute 1,000 goats to vulnerable households that lost thousands of their livestock in last year's drought. Speaking at Oldonyero Livestock Market, where he launched the distribution exercise, Isiolo Governor Abdi Ibrahim Guyo said that the goats will be given to vulnerable households who will be identified by clan elders from all 9 clans of the Samburu community, as well as Turkana community members residing in Oldonyero Ward. The initiative aims to help them restock as the recent rains have brought abundant pasture supporting optimal reproduction.
Tena kwa mkutano, baada ya mkutano
Wazee wa kila clan watakuja kufanya nini? Kuhandia over nini? Mbuzi ya kila clan yao. Tuko pamoja watu wa Ndonyiro.
Tumefurahi sana kama wafugaji kupata mbuzi 1000 ambayo tumeletewa na kaunti ya Isiolo, ambayo ni gavana wetu, ambayo tunashukuru sana na tunapenda kwa sababu imeleta ile kitu ambayo wafugaji naye.
Kulikuwa na kiangazi ambayo ilikuwa imetukumba, ng'ombe yote ilikuwa imeisha, mbuzi ilikuwa imeisha, tulikuwa hali ya umaskini. Na kutoka kwa hiyo mbuzi itaenda isae na watoto wapate maziwa, na wale watoto ambaye walikuwa wamedhoofika na lishe watakuwa na lishe bora kwa sababu watapata maziwa.
Now, for the past year, Baringo County has experienced a rare period of peace and stability, a sharp contrast to 2 decades of violence and hostility. Communities in Baringo South, particularly in Ramacha, that were once divided and at odds have come together, embracing peace and now focus on development to transform their lives.
We are seeing people living together. People are integrating. People now are existing together. The whole tribes have come together and they have agreed to live in harmony, to live in peace. They are supporting each other. Those who had run away, now they are coming back and they are being accommodated by their neighbors. And that is the call that we want to see.
Tunashukuru Mungu sana kwa kuleta jamii zote pamoja. Na kwa sasa tumekuwa na utulivu na tunazidi kuomba Mungu kwamba hii amani idumu na idumu kabisa.
Sasa tukiwa na amani ndio tunafurahia sana. Tumepata vitu mingi sana. Ndio tumefurahia amani sana. Tunaweza pata chakula, tunaweza pata maji na hata mali tuwe nayo.
To the coast now, where over 3,000 residents from Vita sub-county in Mombasa County have benefited from a free medical camp organized by the Pakistan Navy in partnership with the Kenya Navy and the Mombasa County government. Addressing the media, Senior Dentist Coastal Region Colonel Dr. Jethro Wambugu emphasized the importance of bringing medical services closer to the people of Vita. He said the medical camp is part of the Kenya Navy's community outreach program as they are set to mark their 60th anniversary on December 14th, 2024.
The camp aims to bring healthcare close to those who most need it. That is the residents of Mombasa County, specifically Mvita sub-county. We have various specialists. We have consultants in various fields, in medicine, in general surgery, in ENT surgery, in gynecology and obstetrics. Kenya Navy celebrates its 60th anniversary on 14th of December, and in the run-up to the same, it's good to give back to the community that we live in.
Mombasa, the union, they are very close to our heart.
Now, 80 girls aged between 5 and 13 years in Bogosero Ward in Kisii County have been honored in a ceremony aimed at educating the local community in the effects of female circumcision. Acting Chief of Bogosero location, Simon Okeo, commended the initiative to advance knowledge and enlighten the community on the hazards of retrogressive practices.
Tumejaribu kuhakikisha watoto wetu wasichana ambao wamepita right passage, ambao tunaendelea kuhakikisha kwamba hawezi kwenda jandoni kama wasichana, na hii project imekuwa hapa Mosocho kwa muda wa miaka 20 na imefanya watu wetu na watoto wetu wameweza kufaidika kwa hii project.
We want, as you want, that the degree, the percentage will lower down to 0% for the girls, and that could be possible with finances from the government.
Tumefundishwa mambo mengi ambayo wengi hawakuwa wanajua maana ya kutotahiri watoto. Sasa tumepata hiyo mafundisho na tunaendelea kuhimiza wengine ambao walikuwa wanafikiria kufanya hiyo jambo. Sasa wameelewa hasara kwa mtoto msichana yenye anapata.
Also, young people are being challenged to leverage on technology and monitor public programs and projects for enhanced transparency and reporting malpractices in project implementation. The remarks have been made during the International Anti-Corruption Day at the commemorations at the Strathmore University under the theme Uniting the Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity. The Commission's Deputy CEO who has recently been nominated as the CEO, that is Abdi Mohammed, spoke earlier, where he shared the ambition of the Commission to partner with the youth to amplify the voice against corruption and unethical conduct which continues to deny them fair access to opportunities for personal development.
Economic progress and denying ordinary citizens access to opportunities and services. The cost is particularly heavy for young people as corruption undermines education, employment prospects, and societal equity. Yet, let me say, where challenges exist, so too does opportunities for transformation. Allow me to reaffirm that the youth possess unparalleled energy, creativity, and willingness to question the status quo. Your voice is powerful in the fight against corruption. The youth continue to be champions of social change through active participation in governance globally. Kenyan youth have not been left behind in seeking for enhanced accountability and transparency in leadership. You are not only leaders of tomorrow, but also stewards of today. Ladies and gentlemen, to truly unite against corruption, we must equip the youth with tools and platforms for meaningful engagement. First, education and empowerment. Anti-corruption education must begin early and extend to every level of society. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is committed to enhancing civic education in schools, tertiary institutions, universities, and community programs. Second, technology and collaboration. We urge the youth to leverage on technology to monitor public programs and projects for enhanced transparency and reporting of malpractices in project implementation. Third, celebrating integrity. We must recognize and reward acts of honesty and bravery, creating role models for generations to come. As we mark this day, we seek to partner with Kenyan youth.
Now, healthcare workers in Migori County have threatened to go on an industrial strike beginning Monday midnight after the 14-day strike notice issued to the county government elapsed. Officials drawn from the 5 unions stated that all public hospital operations in the county will be disrupted until their demands were addressed.
In a press brief at the Migori Referral Hospital, the officials drawn from the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Kenya National Union of Medical Laboratory Officers, the Kenya National Union of Pharmaceutical Technologies, and the Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union called out the Migori County government for ignoring their grievances and not providing solutions even after they issued a strike notice on the 25th of November.
We have repeatedly sought dialogue and engaged in negotiations and given room for county government to resolve our grievances. Instead, we have been met with total disregard.
The healthcare workers had listed their demands, among them promotions and redesignations, addressing of staff shortages, and provision of comprehensive medical insurance coverage.
More nurses to be employed, so that it is not only the nurse who is in charge at the dispensary, it is the same nurse who want to go on strike.
Promotions have never been forthcoming. Others were promoted last by 2018. Others, 2017 up to now, we really need the promotions.
We demand for a comprehensive medical cover. For laboratory staff, a comprehensive medical cover is something that is very, very crucial.
The unions have vowed to maintain the strike until their demands are met.
We are compelled to announce that all health services in public facilities will be suspended starting on Tuesday morning.
Martini Maslin for Lunchtime News.
Still in Migori, civil society organizations in Migori County have condemned increased cases of female circumcision in Kuria region during the December holidays, despite heightened campaign to end the vice. Speaking in Migori town, the officials blamed politicians for glorifying outdated cultural practices, even with evidence of its effect on the victims.
We've come out in one voice to just come in solidarity and also call upon action, more action to be taken. We acknowledge that local law enforcers are doing something, and we've seen already right now 2 cutters have been arrested. We've seen also some arrest of the parents, but as CSOs we feel that that is not much enough at this particular time.
And we are calling out to the governor, MPs and MCA and oil-ice leader like CPC, CCC, Deputy Governor, Women Rep and Anti-FGM Board. We believe that if these people all come together with all the civil society organizations represented here in Kuria, we can all work something together.
And in other news, community groups in Kwale County have partnered with the Kwale County government in donating blood to help patients in need of blood in the region. The Diani Walkers and Kombani Walkers community group say the blood donation exercise was carried out following reports of blood shortages reported in the blood bank. They are urging residents to turn out in large numbers to donate blood and save the lives of patients in hospital. The exercise involves the groups.
Ni muhimu watu wakitoa damu zikuwe kule kwenye hospitali zetu za Kwale na kwenye blood banks, so that when these emergencies zinafanyika waweze kupata damu kwa haraka.
Masuala ya damu katika benki yetu ya damu kwa sasa imepungua kiasi. Sisi huwa tunategemea our blood donors who are majorly the schools, and the schools have closed. Na sasa upungufu wa damu unaanza kutusukuma kidogo.
Wakati kuna hamasisho kutoa damu waje kwa wingi, kwa sababu hujui kwanza hii damu itasaidia nani, na pia ni muhimu kujua kwamba damu huwa tunatoa unaweza kutoa kila baada ya miezi mitatu.
A family in Kitengela, Kajiado County has set aside part of land for the construction of a dispensary to serve the growing population. The family, which has 32 members, has been meeting weekly to contribute 2,000 Kenya shillings each to help build the dispensary, saying they cannot wait for the government to come to their rescue. The move, they say, is set to address the biting shortage of land in the area after most public utility plots were grabbed and sold to private developers, leaving no room for development of such critical infrastructures.
Public utility tunataka isaidie watu ambao wako surrounding area na pia sisi wenyewe. Kwa hivyo tukijiangalia sisi ndio watu wa kwanza area hii kuweka public utility, na tunashukuru, na pia tunatafuta watu wanaweza tusaidia tujenge hiyo dispensary na kuchimba borehole ambayo itasaidia watu wa area.
Kawendo imekuwa mfano mwema, na naomba kina mama waweze kushikana ili wakaiga mfano kutoka kwa Kawendo kwamba wanaweza fanya kitu kubwa. Mradi huu kuna mahali wametenga kwamba wataweza kuweka hospitali na kuchimbua maji. Kwa hivyo ninaona watakuwa na maendeleo mazuri.
Now, Kaloleni and Rabai communities in Kilifi County have been sensitized about the rights of children and the elderly in the judicial system to stem vices such as sexual violence and the killing of the elderly in the area. Speaking during the Kaloleni Law Courts Open Day and the Child Service Month 2024 at the Lugwe Primary School grounds in Rabai Sub-County, officers in the justice system, including Kaloleni Resident Magistrate Geoffrey Mokua and Kaloleni Principal Magistrate Nancy Macau, said that lawbreakers had no space in the legal system and that will be slapped with various sentences when found guilty.
Ukinajisi mtoto wa miaka 11 kuja chini, wewe utaenda ndani maisha. Kama yule mtoto ako na miaka 12 hadi 15, tutakufunga 20 years, not less than 20 years, miaka 20. Na kama yule mtoto ako between 16, miaka 16 hadi 18, tutamfunga 15 years.
Kuna kesi ambazo hatutakubali zikuje kwenyu kama wazee wa kaya, kama wazee wa kijiji, kama askari na kama chief. Nafikiri ni kesi gani? Ubakaji ama kesi zozote zinazo husiana na mtoto. Hii sisemi ile ya maintenance, mali mzee amekataa kuchunga mtoto ama mama amekataa kuchunga mtoto, nasema hiyo bado mnaweza kaa chini msikizane. Ile kesi yote ambayo iko na mtoto ndani yake, tunasema kuwa hiyo hatutakubali ifanyike pale nje.
Security personnel in the country have made significant strides in the war against drugs and substance abuse. Seizures of large quantities of drugs like heroin, bang and cocaine, and apprehension of drug barons trying to smuggle them through the border post have also been made. This progress follows the deployment of a multi-agency team including specialized police dogs in the fight against the drugs menace. Over 51 suspects have been arraigned in court. Adan Ibrahim has the latest.
Drugs cartels in the country have for many years used Kenya's border points as corridors for smuggling illegal goods and drugs trafficking.
Fight it! Yeah, fight it! Fight it! Yes,
With Moyale and Isebania Highway being notorious transit points, the drugs network intricately divided into traffickers of different regions. The Moyale to Ethiopia side and traffickers in Moyale to Kenya, traffickers in Merti and Isiolo and traffickers based in Meru and Nairobi. A multi-agency security team continues to make inroads and slowly but surely breaking these drug trafficking chains along the border points.
The scrupulous drug cartels in our country that will not allow you, and I can say this without blinking my eye, that we will not allow you going forward to bring drugs and destroy our society.
Police have reported success in intercepting drugs like heroin, bang and cocaine, seizing large quantities and apprehending drug barons through a multi-agency team approach, including use of specialized sniffer police dogs.
And these dogs have done a very wonderful job. They have really prevented crime, and we have arrested quite a number of culprits who actually bring drugs and other contrabands to our country.
The dogs breeds being used by the government to help in the drugs fight are German Shepherds, English Springer Spaniel, among others. The canines have an incredible sense of smell, which is far superior to that of humans.
For those of us, maybe the bigger population do not know the dog's animal, the animal called the dog, is very intelligent. They are very intelligent and they are able to identify so many odors.
They are capable of detecting even small traces of drugs sealed or hidden away. Religious leaders have also supported the police in their efforts to curb drug trafficking.
What we are proposing is that every Kenyan has to open up its eyes. As religious leaders, we are ready to cooperate with the government at all levels, from national level to the grassroots level.
The society must stand up because those drugs are not sold to animals or trees. It is sold to human beings. And those human beings are coming from the society. The society, particularly the religion forum, the religious forum, the Christian, the Muslims, all kind of association must raise their antenna to fight and curb the drug.
They have urged police to dismantle drugs traffickers network as they demand action on police who are compromised by the drug barons.
We know Kenya is the hub of Africa. It's a gateway hub to the Central Africa. This is the place where all kind of things passes. JKIA is as busy as even more than Heathrow.
We have to screen even our own people. Anybody who's been found to have compromised, we get rid of them so that the good image of our security forces, the police force and the intelligence is not marred by these bad people we have got within the network.
We have put a multi-agency team that are purposely to deal with these contrabands. They are always sneaking drugs in our country.
Drugs that include heroin, bang and cocaine with a street value of over 25 million shillings have so far been confiscated. So far, over 51 suspects have been arraigned in court countrywide to face charges related to the possession of heroin, bang and cocaine, among others.
Okay. Yes. It has done a lot of cases. Yes.
Well, that is a story produced by Adan Ibrahim and voiced by none other than Timothy Kipnusu. Elsewhere, the leadership of Salvation Army Nairobi Central Temple are raising concerns over the management of the Nairobi Central Temple complex. The complex, allegedly constructed through a partnership of a local construction limited, was due to be handed back to the Salvation Army Nairobi Central Temple after the company recouped its investment. Now, according to the section of church leadership, the complex has, however, not been reverted back to the church, instead being given to the construction company under unclear circumstances. Timothy Kipnusu now reports.
Faithful from the Salvation Army Nairobi Central Temple took to the streets Sunday to demand for clarity in the management of Salvation Army Nairobi Central Temple complex, premises allegedly constructed through a partnership with a local construction company. A section of the church leaders said the complex was allegedly supposed to be reverted back to the church in October 2023 after the construction company had recouped its investment. However, this has not been the case.
We don't need any corruption within the premises of the church. And we stand to warn those who are perpetrators of corruption.
The matter has raised critical concerns among the church community, with various attempts to engage the divisional commander and territorial commander to clarity being unsuccessful.
Hii habari mfikie, hata yeye akuje hapa atuandress. TC tumemuita amekataa kukuja, we need chief secretary. This is the time we demand. We are not requesting. We can run our own project. Na more to TC tunamwambia keep off from the project.
The congregation has, among others, resolved to repossess and directly manage the complex.
The Salvation Army Nairobi Central Temple will respond and directly manage the complex effectively from 1st December 2024, aligning with the practice observed in other core like Kadhiani, Vika, Wote and Madare. Those cores are managing their own properties. They are not managed by the THQ. And we demand for us to manage our own project.
They are also demanding for an audit for goodwill payment of an alleged payment of 800,000 and rent increases implemented by the construction company.
Our pay bill is 658899. Na hiyo ndio pay bill ya Nairobi Central Temple. And that's where our tenant will be paying our rent. As landlord, tunasema wawe wanalipa wapi? Hapa.
Well, it is 28 minutes past the hour. We need to take our first commercial break. But on the other side, we're keeping a close eye at the SKM Center there in Karen, where we do understand that the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is addressing members of the Fourth Estate, so don't go too far.
Are you thinking about your future? Saving through a registered retirement benefits plan offers amazing benefits that make a difference when it matters most. A registered retirement benefits plan allows you to save up to 20,000 shillings every month tax-free. An investment income from a pension scheme is tax-exempt, meaning your money grows even faster, especially when you add the compound interest. Your retirement benefits provide a basic, reasonable income after your working life, preventing old age poverty and offering contingency funds in cases of ill health, death, or other disruptions. It acts as a safety net upon loss of employment, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offers financial protection to your dependents. Plus, it can cover post-retirement medical costs, one of the biggest expenses for retirees. Secure your future and enjoy your retirement to the fullest with a registered pension plan. Plan today for a brighter tomorrow. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed. We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now a trip down memory lane. He was a police officer turned politician who served as the Minister for Labour. This week on the Cabinet, we focus on Joseph Kimeu Ngutu, who served in President Daniel Arap Moi's administration.
Kangundo district in what is now Machakos County. In 1941, Ngutu went to the local Kawethei District Education Board School for his primary and secondary education. From an early age, Ngutu had a strong desire to serve in the disciplined and uniformed forces. He was recruited in 1966 while in his mid-20s and went to Kiganjo Police Training College in Nyeri. He worked at various stations across the country and rose through the ranks to the position of Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations. Joseph Kimeu Ngutu was a police officer turned politician and had to fit in the shoes of mercurial politician and freedom fighter Paul Joseph Ngei. Ngutu was the beneficiary of Ngei's fall from power when he was finally forced to resign from his cabinet post and relinquish his Kangundo parliamentary seat in 1991 after being declared bankrupt by the High Court of Kenya. As soon as Ngei was declared bankrupt, Ngutu declared his interest in contesting the seat once it was declared vacant. He had retired as Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Nyeri-based Kiganjo Police Training College. He contested the seat in the subsequent by-election and won, becoming the second occupant of the seat since independence. He was appointed Minister for Labour, a position he held for about a year and a half until 1992 multi-party elections, in which he lost the seat to a political greenhorn, Joseph Wambua Mulusia, who ran on a Democratic Party ticket. The party was led by Mwai Kibaki. 5 years later, Ngutu made a dramatic comeback. In the 1997 elections, he managed to win back the Kangundo seat. Ngutu once again became Minister for Labour, where he stayed for the next 5 years until the 2002 general election, in which he lost his seat. Some of the projects credited to Ngutu included the construction of health centres, Kawedhe Secondary School and coffee processing factories. He also encouraged farmers in agriculture potential areas to start coffee plantations. Ngutu worked as minister for just about a year before the 2002 general election, when he lost his seat to Moffat Maithe, who contested via the little-known Sisi Kwa Sisi party. Jackie Wimbiru, The Cabinet.
Welcome to the world of business. The Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife is on a course to net 5 million tourists annually by the year 2027, supported by new marketing initiatives being put in place, such as Ziara Kenya, One Diaspora, One Tourist initiative. This emerged during a performance evaluation meeting between the Deputy Chief of Staff, Elido Walo, and the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife officials led by Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano. In Wildlife, Miano says her ministry is keen to eliminate cases of human-wildlife conflict.
You see, overall, why we are institutionalizing performance management is to ensure that we get results. We move from a situation where everything is based on rituals and formalities to a culture of results in the public service. You are aware that everything that we do is financed by public resources.
I look forward to some of the parameters that we have, like the tourist earnings, tourist numbers, the support in human-wildlife conflict. And one exciting one is that we were supposed to provide water to the communities where those that reside with the wildlife. And I'm sure that one, at least, we have done quite a bit.
Now, from the State Department of Tourism, let's head over to the SKM Center, where the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka was addressing members of the Fourth Estate this afternoon in regards to the stalemate being witnessed in the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, IBC. Let's listen in.
Demand this, and I stand in solidarity with the church organizations who have also said the same. The ball is actually in William Ruto's court to tell his proxies to withdraw. You've just mentioned one of them. Withdraw the matter in the Court of Appeal. And then we can discuss if they're still in Azimio. Yes, sir.
Well, of course, we'll have more for you in our subsequent bulletins. Give us a mine is there, and we'll tell us more at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Elsewhere, small and medium enterprises in the agri-food value chain in Western Kenya will access low-cost funding courtesy of an initiative by GIZ. Here is Benson Rioba with the details.
The informal sector accounts for 90% of new jobs in Kenya, based on data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. To strengthen the informal sector, the German government has availed a kitty to support SMEs in the agri-food value chain to access low-cost working capital and linkages to financial institutions.
We also have the enterprises that have grown. These are growth stage enterprises. We have an approach called SME Loop that is supported by GIZ. Through the SME Loop as well, we support growth stage enterprises, and we again have business coaches who support the enterprises.
Dala Feeds is among 10 startups that have been funded to expand operations in Western Kenya.
Dala came about to be a feed that is produced locally and from home, and we are able to buy raw materials from the farmers. That is for the maize, as low as 1 bag.
The miller says access to working capital has seen it expand its operations and create employment opportunities.
So as KPF, we buy back broilers and eggs from our farmers, but the biggest challenge for our farmers is market. So we have identified a lot of women in the slums that come and offtake our broilers mostly. So we use it as a model to empower them.
The acceleration program is part of the 680 million shillings that the German government has earmarked to accelerate agriculture development and training in Western Kenya. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
The Kenya Revenue Authority KRA collected 1 trillion shillings between July and November this year, representing a 4.3% growth when compared to last year's collections. The Kenya Revenue Authority says collections were affected by various economic indicators that directly impacted revenue mobilization.
The Kenya Revenue Authority says customs recorded an above 70 billion mark monthly collection in the last 4 months between August and November 2024. Cumulatively, between July and November 2024, custom revenue collections were at 359.571 billion shillings, a growth of 5.9% over 339.678 billion shillings realized during a similar period last year. Domestic taxes amounted to 643.790 billion shillings in July to November 2024, translating to a revenue growth of 3.5%, over 621.984 billion shillings realized in the same period of 2023. However, KRA says despite its impressive 5-month turnaround, its revenue mobilization was affected by certain economic indicators, key among them the significant low domestic demand as indicated by the Slowed Purchasing Managers Index that averaged at 48.94 points in July to November 2024, indicating a contraction in the economic activities. This is also indicative from the modest growth in overall import values of goods by 1% in the last 5 months of 2024, which is a main source of both raw materials and final consumer goods. The Kenya Revenue Authority is targeting to collect 2.704 trillion shillings in the current financial year. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
The government has identified the creative economy as a source of employment and enabler of the national cohesion and innovation. The Kenya Film Commission Chief Executive Officer Timothy Owase says sectors such as film, music, digital media and visual arts hold immense potential to drive economic development and job creation.
From the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows that in 2023, the creative arts accounts for 5% of the gross domestic product and 0.25% of total wage employment in Kenya. Already, the Creative Economy Support Bill 2023 is before the Senate, which seeks to establish the Creative Fund to enhance industry's contributions to the nation's economy. The Kenya Film Commission Chief Executive Officer Timothy Owase says through policies, funding and collaboration, the government is laying the groundwork for a thriving creative economy.
Through the Multi-Choice Talent Factory, you have acquired the skills, knowledge, and to create and innovate and inspire skills that will empower you to make an indelible mark on the globe. It fills me with great pride to witness how initiatives like the Multi-Choice Talent Factory are contributing to the transformation of our youths into highly skilled professionals in the creative industries.
Speaking during the graduation of the 2024 cohort from the Multi-Choice Talent Factory Eastern Africa Academy, Owase says such initiatives as the MTF Academy aim at creating a robust pipeline of skilled professionals ready to enter the job market.
Doing this, we create jobs. We help the government also by paying more tax. And we can do all of this just because we believe, really, that we can enrich lives. So I'm very excited.
As the 2024 graduates of the Multi-Choice Talent Factory embark on their professional journeys, players in the sector believe that support of the Kenyan government, coupled with the resources and opportunities provided by organizations like Multi-Choice, is setting the stage for a new era of African creativity. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
Now to a special excerpt this afternoon. Upcoming Kenyan welders are turning to virtual reality or VR technology to gain skills in advanced welding techniques. On Tech One, we visit trainees of the future, gaining skills in international welding practices as tutored by virtual instructors, coaching through augmented reality.
Cynthia Wamboi Njoroge is an upcoming professional welder at Toolkit, a digital social enterprise training in technical skills and welding, or what is commonly known as Jua Kali. But Wamboi tells us this is not typical Jua Kali because the use of virtual reality has enhanced her grasp of welding techniques and has also debunked myths related to blending learning programs that are complemented by technology.
With time, it's not that hard. It's easy. As you go, as you continue practicing, it's so much easy. You gain your muscle memory. So the moment when you come, you join the workshop, you are able to maintain your memory and also the stability during welding. When you start with the VR, it's much easier when you come to the workshop.
Wamboi is not alone. Her colleague Peter Kuria Mungai cites time and unique upskilling as the reason for choosing VR in welding.
I started with virtual reality, where we are engaged in a controlled, stimulated environment, the same as a workshop, but it's in a controlled, stimulated environment, where I gained a skill in virtual reality, and I really passed. I had a pass mark of 89.
The learning experience begins here, using a wearable headset, a unique handheld controller customized to mimic a welding gun. The controller has a series of buttons which helps the user select options in the virtual world, while the headset acts as the wearer's eyes in this digital reality. These devices take you to a virtual world safely projected on computers, which display what the VR wearer of the devices sees and controls in the virtual world.
So as you can see on your screen, he's welding. So you are able to select the required sample. You adjust the parameters, you set the parameters, you set the current, you set the gas. Like I've said, MIG welding entails the use of gas. So once he or she is ready to weld virtually, there are all the welding specifications that are required. This one will give you the experience of the real MIG welding gun. Yes, the weight of the gun. Okay, so this one acts as a counterweight.
However, as groundbreaking as it may be, there are still major issues to consider.
The biggest challenge and the call for first to the government is model the curriculum for assessment to be able to catch higher levels such that our trainees are qualified internationally.
The appeal for these tools in various needs seem not to be waning as technology continues to make work easier.
Virtual reality environments like the ones you've seen here for welding safeguard against a lot of costs overruns, especially when it comes to safety and the overall cost of programs like this. And now experts say that this can be replicated in other industries like this one. Alan Oko, Tech One.
Report. Alan, thank you for that report. And of course, to more business news now, where the government is working with the private sector in agriculture sector to increase edible oil production in the country. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary, that is Andrew Karanja, says there is a need for provision of private equity among small-scale farmers to enable them acquire clean planting materials and oil processing equipment to increase edible oil production.
Kenya imported edible oils worth 139 billion shillings in 2023, a 5% decrease from the previous year. The government is keen to reduce the edible oils import bill by putting 5 million acres of land under sunflower in the next 1 year. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Andrew Karanja says they are planning for extensive public-private partnerships to assist small-scale farmers venture into edible oil crops cultivation to scale up production.
Kenya is importing a lot of cooking oil. We are spending almost 200 billion on cooking oil, and the government is latching up the program of making sure that we grow and produce locally cooking oil.
Government plans to tap into private equity to extend financial services to smallholder farmers to purchase oil pressers and seeds.
We encourage them to even get more because our farmers, especially from macadamia, can benefit a lot in terms of adding value to the macadamia. And then the issue of whether we can be able to add the value of the macadamia in the country rather than exporting the nut in shell.
To increase horticulture shipments, the government is planning to partner with established agriculture enterprises to strengthen the traceability system and reduce interception of Kenyan consignments in key markets.
Kakuzi has been able to work with them to help them organize so that the traceability issue is coming through. They also, if they can be organized into groups and organizations and cooperatives, they will be able to get more benefits rather than allowing it to be taken by middlemen along the market chain.
Small-scale farmers have been encouraged to acquaint themselves with key international standards, including sustainability farming, to gain more markets.
And now finally, let's play. 48 teams will be battling for the top prize of the Masengeli football tournament, which kicked off last evening and will run until 31st of December this year in Trans Nzoia. The tournament has been organized to encourage the youth to take up sports as a way of steering them away from social evils. Blessed FC defeated Red Arrows 2-1 in the tournament's opening game, while in the ladies' opening game, Koikoi beat Kipsagam 1-0.
Youths in Trans Nzoia have been encouraged to embrace opportunities in sports and technology as a way of bettering their future lives. With tournaments like the Masengeli football tournament, which kicked off yesterday, the youths were urged to explore the opportunities as pathways to a brighter future. Before kickoff, they were educated on the critical need to engage in developmental initiatives that can enhance their prospects and uplift their communities.
This is to nurture talents of the youth so that they can participate, especially in this festive season. You know, sports is really a very important event to our country. You can remember our athletics have taken our country high, and Gilbert Masengeli is really passionate. Mr. Gilbert Masengeli is passionate. Our DIG is very passionate about sports. That is why he had decided to use this foundation to assist, fund these teams to be able to play these games.
The 3-week tournament has attracted a total of 48 teams that will all be fighting for the top prize. The best 3 performing teams will be awarded cash prizes after the final to be played on 31st December this year.
We are going to be taking around 20 young people from here because of the relationship that we've built with them. We'll offer them that opportunity. As we set up the center in Kitale, we will also be taking around 20 of them and providing them with jobs. These are full-time jobs. The opportunity you're providing is just at level 1. It's full-time, yes, but we want to just introduce them to the digital space and then now start introducing them to the professional line of jobs that exist in the digital world. So the jobs are there. We'll give them the entry-level jobs, but in the long run, we'll have trainings and we'll also avail them opportunities to, get these tier 2, tier 3 level jobs that, are more sustainable.
Humphrey Muchuma, the CEO of Inua AI, commended the leadership in the Western region for their proactive approach in creating initiatives aimed at steering youths away from social evils and emphasized the importance of encouraging them to participate in sport and pursue careers in the digital realm, fostering a more promising future for the next generation. Open. There will be a total of 32 men's teams and 8 lady teams. 8 teams for juniors under the age of 14 years will also compete in the tournament.
Junaid Manji survived a late charge from Krish Shah and Sevi Soni to win the inaugural NCBA Central Rift Junior Open at the Nakuru Golf Club. Only 3 shots separated the top 4 golfers.
Junaid Manji had a fair score of 78 on day 1 and followed it up with a score of 74 in the second round and a disappointing 82 points in the third round to win the inaugural NCBA Central Rift Junior Open.
They were great. They all are very good players as well. So, yeah, I just keep encouraging them to get better because every day you have to get better.
Krish Shah finished second, just 1 stroke behind Manji. In third place was Sevi Soni, 1 shot behind Shah and 2 strokes behind the winner. 14-year-old Belinda Wanjiru was the overall winner in the girls category with a score of 237, 3 shy of the overall winner.
For me, I'd say probably hole number 7 because it's a bit trickier for me because I play more of a fade. So that means my ball travels from left to right. So on that hole, you'd rather be on the left. But on the last 3 days, I've been on the right, which made it a bit harder for me to score on that hole.
Felix Cheriot won the boys 19 to 21 years category.
Well, also, game week 15 of the English Premier League concludes this evening with West Ham set to welcome Wolves at the London Stadium. And of course, on Tuesday and Wednesday, it will be the UEFA Champions League, which is back. And of course, mouth-watering clashes are set to take place across the continent. That concludes our bulletin this afternoon. Do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshi. Good afternoon for now and enjoy the rest of your day.
Hayuko nyanya, hayuko.
Ati nini? Hivi kumbe mtu weza kulala ukiamka ukifungua macho ukuta umekufa. Ndio ukimwangalia ana upungufu wote wa kiafya huyo.
Upungufu si lazima wa afya, weza pungukiwa hata akili.
Unasemaje?
Nani nakwambia kwa huko ndani ya nyumba yangu kuna kazi ukija utaajiriwa.
Ninakuona tangu asubuhi umeamka hauna raha. Kwani kuna shida yote?
Nahisi kama kuna kitu kibaya kitafanyika.
Sasa mbona wa mzigo mwanamume wewe ubebeki?
Mimi nimekuwa mzigo. Chumba chake kimejaa harufu ya kifo.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Well, go on, my brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth reggae vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
super side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Hadija ai Mani especially ukisonga
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this new edition of Business Africa. Today in our program we'll cover economic prospects for the continent amidst the threat of war and climate change. But first, let's get on with the show with our top stories today. They are a game changer for organic waste management in Kenya. Black soldier flies farms join the fight for environmental protection.
All this waste could have been rotting in a dump site in Dandora, and the methane is going up, but now we've taken it and we've turned it into something useful, which is important to start out just thinking about sustainability, but thinking about how can we create circular systems within our food chains, because food is like a really big emitter of carbon.
In the Central African Republic, an NGO aims to provide shoes to the whole country.
When I was in Bangui, I often asked people to buy these shoes because they are very beautiful. They don't smell, no odors of the skins. They are just like machine-made shoes in big factories.
Nigeria, champion of cryptocurrency. Let's head for Abuja and its virtual financial technology hub.
Convexity is a blockchain technology focused company, and we are interested in seeing the blockchain technology prosper and of course expand within African sub-region, starting from Nigeria.
Recent floods in West and Central Africa have demonstrated once again the danger presented by heaps of garbage that block storm drains and natural waterways. Waste management remains an issue in many African urban areas. But as climate change and the growing incidence of flash floods amplify risks facing urban dwellers, an unexpected solution is at hand. In the Mukuru area of Nairobi, Kenya's capital, black soldier flies have become an organic waste management tool while offering new ways of feeding animals. Our journalist in Kenya, Jefferson Kahinu, reports.
Black soldier flies are quickly becoming the go-to protein supplement for farmers in Kenya, as they double as a pocket-friendly alternative source of protein for livestock feed, for pigs, fish, and chicken. It also helps the residents to get rid of their organic waste, which would ordinarily end up in dump sites. Although they look like pests, these flies do not carry any diseases. Nairobi produces almost 6,000 metric tons of waste, of which black soldier fly larvae can consume a wide range of organic waste, including food scraps, agricultural residues, and manure, reducing the volume of waste that goes to landfills.
All this waste could have been rotting in a dump site in Dandora, and the methane is going up, but now we've taken it and we've turned it into something useful, which is important to start not just thinking about sustainability, but thinking about how can we create circular systems within our food chains, because food is like a really big emitter of carbon.
Adult black soldier flies are bred and their eggs are collected and hatched in controlled environments. The larvae are fed the prepared organic waste. They grow rapidly, consuming large amounts of waste in the process.
So we start with organic waste, which is grinded, then mixed with other foods, and from there then we feed them, and then we wait for 10 days or 15, usually 10 mostly, depending on the good weather and how they work on the food, and then we do the processing. After there is when we now, after 10 days, we now get to separate the frass from the larvae, and then the larvae is processed, dried, and then sold.
Black soldier fly farming has a low environmental footprint compared to traditional livestock farming. It uses less land, water, and resources.
There are many misconceptions with insects, but the biggest misconception is they have like an ick factor associated with them. And the ick factor is like, oh no, like a cockroach, like they are signifying dirtiness. But globally, 2 billion people already eat insects. In Kenya, in the western region, people eat kumbe, the flying termites. I think it's kind of like a perception thing that we have to get over. Even us, when we first started farming crickets, you know, first one is very hard to put into your mouth, but like the time you're done with one packet, you're like, please bring another one. So just getting people to kind of change their mindset and see that insects can also be beneficial, not just in feed, but also if you look at food, you use insects to manage the bad insects so then you don't have to spray pesticides.
Black soldier fly farming is a promising approach to addressing global challenges in waste management and sustainable agriculture, offering a circular economy solution that converts waste into valuable resources. Insect farming is now seen as an alternative way to combat food security across the continent, with climate change challenging the ability of the continent to fully depend on farming as the only source of food.
Most of the study we have carried out clearly show that when we substitute fish meal or soya beans in the feed, animal feed, using insect, for example, for broiler chicken, they get ready to market size 1 to 2 weeks earlier, you know, saving on input and labor of the farmer and improving profitability. For pigs, they get ready to market size 1.5 to 2 months earlier.
The larvae is rich in protein and fat, making them an excellent feed for livestock, poultry, fish, and pets.
Insects, you don't need arable land to grow them. You see, like what you have here. You can grow them vertically, I can grow them horizontally. That means you can maximize in terms of space. 2, they have very short life cycle. Like this insect, it takes 12 days for the larvae to complete its cycle in the organic waste. That means if you are harvesting the larvae as a protein source, you'll be able to harvest it 26 times a year, compared to harvesting soya beans, which is just twice a year, or harvesting fish, which also is about twice a year, when they're about that side of harvesting.
Today, there are over 1,000 farmers around East Africa who are actively farming the black soldier flies. In the first 3 years, Insectipro recycled 7,500 metric tons of waste in total. The company now hopes to make a bigger dent in the 6,000 metric tons of waste that are produced in Nairobi every day.
How a war can threaten a whole subcontinent's economic prospects, the Sudan war is a case in point. The World Bank downgraded its economic growth forecast for sub-Saharan Africa to 3% this year, down from the April forecast of 3.4%. The Washington-based financial institution explained the downgrade by the 18-month-old conflict in Sudan that has displaced around 11 million people and basically annihilated the country's economy. It is also stalling activity and holding back the entire region. While excluding Sudan, the economy is forecast to grow at 3.5% in 2024. However, the U.S. banking sector, a strong believer in Africa's potential, is not at all worried. JP Morgan Chase, the biggest U.S. bank, just opened representative offices in Kenya and Cote d'Ivoire as part of an effort to expand in East and West Africa. The announcement came as JP Morgan's Chief Executive Officer Jamie Dimon visited Africa for the first time in 7 years in a trip spanning Nigeria, South Africa and Kenya. He stressed that JP Morgan is optimistic about the future of Africa and wants to expand in more countries. The firm has already 160 employees across the continent, most of them in South Africa. Meanwhile, instability and violence continue to undermine economic development in the Central African Republic. In spite of this dire situation, private initiative manages to survive. This is how shoeing the country using ox and sheep skins became the slogan of these men and women united in the Association of Leather Artisans of Bombari, or Azakuba. Bertrand Medagayamas, our correspondent, met them in the east of the country, 375 kilometers from the capital Bangui. Take a look.
About 50 men and women are crafting artisanal products from animal skins and tree bark under this shed. Asakuba is their association of leather craftsmen of Bambari, the fifth largest city in the Central African Republic, located at the center of the country.
We did not have a place when the association was created in 1991. Shortly, the town hall sent our file to the domain, which has given us this space since 1995. But long before, we were scattered before finding ourselves here today.
Here, Matthias Jr. Mandaba, president of the association, and his friends are busy every day putting on shoes for the inhabitants of the city and passing visitors.
In one day, unless overloaded or impeded, a craftsman can make 3 pairs of shoes, not more. If you receive a direct order, you can do it alone, but if it is an order addressed to the association, we work on the assembly line. The assembly is done here and the finishing is done with the team under the shed over there.
Shoes, handbags or handmade belts are sold on site by Bruno Arsène and his colleagues to enable them to support their families.
This model is the one called Duke Saga, which is ordered by a customer. I am doing the assembly. By this evening, I would have finished the sole.
Poor road conditions and insecurity mean that traffic is scarce or non-existent between Bangui and Bambari. It's not easy under these conditions to sell the products. The main clientele of the association is largely made up of expatriate visitors working or passing through Bambari. When I was in Bangui, I often asked people to buy these shoes because they are very beautiful. They don't smell, no odors of the skins. They're just like machine-made shoes in big factories.